Topic 9.4 and 10.2. Objective. I have added and subtracted fractions with unlike denominators. Today I will learn how to use area models to write equivalent fractions, a number line to find mixed numbers and fractions, and also estimate fraction sums and differences. Please pause the video now to write down your objective. Connect to what you know. Why is it useful to estimate sums and differences? I use estimation to see if my guess is close. For example, if I added a half of a pie and a fourth of a pie, I would estimate 3/4 of a pie. Then I would add the fractions after making the denominators alike to see if I'm right. Pose the problem. Jack needs about 1½ yards of string. He can choose only 2 pieces from the following: 2/3 yard, 1/6 yard, and 7/8 yard. Without finding the exact amount, which 2 pieces should he choose to get the closest to 1½ yards of string? Begin by getting teaching tool 5 out. Now, choose a model. Fraction parts which were given above on the teaching tool sheet. Justify your solution using words, drawings, and numbers. Pause the video now to do this in your math spiral. I would choose 7/8 of a yard because it's almost a whole yard, 8/8. Next, I would choose 2/3 yard because it's a little over a half, and I need a little to make up for the eighth I was short. So this should be very close to the actual answer. So then I went ahead and worked it out to see, and I was very, very close, as you can see. Let's estimate the difference of 2 fractions. What you need to do is estimate the fractions to the nearest half. 0, 1/2, or 1. Then add or subtract. Write your estimate in your math journal. So for example, is this closest to 0, half, or 1? And is this closest to 0, half, or 1? And then use the sign if it's plus or minus. Do this now. Pause the video. Well, 8/10 is closest to 10/10, so I went ahead and said that's a whole. 5/16 is more than a fourth, so I went ahead and said it's closer to 1/2. So my estimate is 1 1/2. Is that what you got? 17/20 minus 1/3. Estimate the fractions to the nearest half, 0, 1/2, or 1, and then add or subtract. Write your estimate in your math journal. Pause the video now. Is this what you have? 17/20 rounds to 1. 1/3 is about half. So 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2. That's my estimate. This is a tough one, so good luck. Estimate the sum after estimating both fractions. 1/15 plus 2/16. Well, these are not very much. They're very close to 0. So pause the video now and write your answer. The estimate will be very close to 0 since neither are a fourth. So really, I would say 0 plus 0, so I would write down 0 as my estimate. Try this one. Write this in your math journal. Pause it now. Then check. I would say this, since 4/8 is a half, I'd say half minus, and that's really close to 0/8, so 0. The estimate will be 1/2 minus 0, so it's 1/2 approximately. Now let's try another concept. I know you've done this before, but just as a reminder, sometimes you will see an improper fraction where the numerator is a larger number than the denominator. For example, 11/5 is an improper fraction. To make an improper fraction a mixed number, you take the denominator and make it a divisor, and the numerator is the dividend. Now work this division problem in your math journal, then check. Here's another one. This time I'll cover up the answer. 31/6. Go ahead, pause the video now and do the problem. Then check. I take my denominator, make it my divisor. This becomes my dividend, my numerator. So I take 6 into 31, it's 5. There's my whole number. That's why I write it so big. 5 times 6 is 30. Subtract. 1 is my remainder, which becomes my numerator, and I have my original denominator, which was my divisor. Here's another review. Let's do the opposite and begin with a mixed number, which is a whole number with a fraction. An example of a mixed number is 5 and 4/5. In this case, take the denominator times the whole number, then add the numerator. Next, put the answer over the original denominator. Write this in your math journal, then solve. Pause the video now. These are my favorites. They're so easy to do. I take my denominator times my whole number plus my numerator. And this is my answer, 29/5. I bet that's what you have. Last one, so do it well. Go ahead and pause the video and work on this one in your spiral notebook, then check. Pause the video. Did you get the same answer? I know you did. Lastly, let's practice estimating fractions, mixed numbers, and improper fractions on a number line. Okay, we have 1.5. Just like 50 cents rounds to $1, so does 1/2 round to 2. So 1 and 1/2 will round to 2. 1 and 7/8, well, you can see how close it is to 8/8. So it also rounds to 2. So 1 and 7/8 rounds to 2. 1 and 1/4 rounds to 2 because it's much closer, okay, than it is to the 3. So, I'm sorry, I said 1 and 1/4. 2 and 1/4 rounds to 2. And 2 and 1/2 rounds to 3 because it's just like that 50 cents rounds to $1. So 2.5 rounds to 3. Did you guess these right? Now let's try estimating sums and differences. 2 and 1/3 minus 6/7. Write this in your math spiral. Now estimate 2 and 1/3, then subtract the estimate for 6/7. Then check it. Pause the video now to write all this down in your math spiral. Okay, I would estimate 2 and 1/3 as 2, because a third's not much, and it's not up to half, and minus 1. So 2 minus 1 is what I would do for an estimate. So 2 minus 1 equal 1. So the estimate is 1. Try this one. 4 3/4 plus 7/8. Write this in your math spiral. Now estimate 4 3/4, then add the estimate for 7/8. And of course, check after you're done. Pause the video now. Let's see. 4 3/4, well, that's almost 5, plus 1. Because 7/8 is really close to 8/8, which is 1. So 5 plus 1 will give me 6. So the estimate is 6. 5/6 minus 5/9. Write this in your math spiral. Now estimate 5/6, then add the estimate for 5/9. Pause the video now. Okay, 5/6, 6/6 is 1/2, so this will be 1 minus 4.5/9 is half, so that's really close to half, so I'm going to say 1 minus a half. And 1 minus a half would give me a half, so the estimate is 1/2. Add 1 3/5 plus 2 1/6 plus 1/3. Copy the equation and the number line, Then solve it by estimating the sum. Hint: what whole numbers do each of these mixed numbers round to? Now, what is the sum of the rounded numbers? Oops, should have had an ED there. Pause the video now. Okay, first I want to add it mentally. 1 3/5. Well, I know that 1 5/5 is a whole, so that's really close to a whole. So I'm going to say 2 right here. 1 plus the 1. So 2 plus 2 and 1/6. 1/6 is really close to 2. So I'm going to say 2 plus 2 plus, I'm going to just go ahead and leave that as third. So here's how I do it on the number line. I go 2 plus 2, and then I just add a little third. So that's my estimate. You saw how I used the number line in the last example, so try it in this example. Alex has 5 cups of strawberries. He wants 1 6/8 cups of strawberries for a fruit salad and 3½ cups of strawberries for jam. Does Alex have enough strawberries to make both recipes? Try this by estimating in your math spiral. Draw this number line, please. Pause the video now to work this problem out. Okay, 1 6/8 would be about here, and 8/8 is for 2. So 1 8/8 would be 2. So I'm going to go ahead and consider this 2, and 3½ I will leave that the same. So 2 plus 3 is 5 plus another half. So I'm guessing about, since this is 4 and this is 6, 5 is probably right here. Here's my half. So my estimate will be 2, since 1 6/8 is so close. Next I estimate 3½, and I just used this mixed number. I end up by 2 and 3½ equal 5½. I'm ready for another one. Are you? Whoops, forgot to show you what it looked like on the number line. This would be 2 and 3½. Now we're ready for the next one. Alex has 5 cups of strawberries. Will Alex have enough strawberries to make 3 recipes that call for 1½, 2 2/8, plus 1 2/3 of strawberries? Write these 2 sentences and draw a number line and estimate in your math journal. So this is one recipe, second recipe, third recipe. Will he have enough if he has 5 cups of strawberries? Figure it out. Pause the video now to do so in your math spiral. Okay, let me mentally figure this out first. 1½ I think is about 2, because I know half rounds to 2. 2 2/8. That's closer to 2, because this is just a fourth when you reduce it. So 2 1/4, that rounds to 2 also. So now I have 2 plus 2 plus 1 2/3. 3/3 is a whole cup. So I already have 1 cup, and so I'm going to say this one is 2 cups. So we have 2. Whoops, I said there's already 2 here. So 2 2/8. Oh, right. Have you got it figured out? So here's what I have for my estimate. 6, because I have 1½ rounds to 2, 2 2/8 rounds to 2, and 1 2/3 rounds to 2. So it would take 6, so he would not have enough with 5 cups of strawberries. Please do your self-assessment and your math spiral now. How do you feel about today? Did you understand it?